If you've been playing guitar for a few years now, then you're not a beginner, but you still might feel lost on the guitar. You might know chords, scales, and maybe even some theory, but solos still feel random. You get lost on the neck, and everything just still feels disconnected. And the thing is that that's not a talent problem, that's a systems problem. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 things intermediate guitarists consistently get wrong and how to fix them so that everything starts to click. Let's get into it. So first off, you're practicing, but you don't have a system. A lot of guitarists will say that they practice, but if you ask them how they actually practice, it'll actually look a lot more like a lot of randomness. Maybe one day they'll play a specific scale, maybe the other day they'll play just chords, and maybe another day they'll just do a few songs that they like without connection to what they're actually trying to get better at. And the problem here is that if you have no structure, then you're not going to have any retention. Because the thing is that time spent is not the same as progress made. And the way to fix this is to have an actual structured practice routine that keeps you on track to progress. You need a clear framework that'll actually get you from point A to point B in as little time as possible. A lot of people think that you need a few hours a day, but the truth is that even if you only have 30 minutes a day, you can still make a lot of progress on your instrument. And I made a video about that 30-minute practice session, which you can check out right here. Because the idea is that you need to have repetition with intent. And not just that, but you need to make it fun and musical. And you need to keep track of the progress that you're making so you can actually continue towards your goal. So that way you're not just playing a scale for 45 minutes and you end up burned out, but you actually have a fun practice routine that will take you to where you want to be on the guitar. But the thing is that even if you are practicing consistently, there's still another problem here. Because maybe you've learned the shapes on the guitar, but you haven't learned how they actually connect. Players tend to only memorize shapes in one place on the neck, and they usually only memorize the fundamental position of a certain chord. And the thing that they usually don't see is how they overlap, how they relate to chords, and even their inversions and how that makes them movable on the neck. In other words, the case system. What are the chord tones in those inversions that they're doing, and how can you look at everything through that lens? The thing is that you don't need more shapes, you need better connections between the things that you already are doing on the guitar. Because I assure you, it is all connected. And this is why people get stuck in boxes on the guitar. It's why their solos end up sounding repetitive. And it's why you may end up sounding mechanical or even disconnected from the music that you're playing instead of musical. So the fix here is a few things. Learn how to connect shapes on the guitar. Learn to see the patterns across the neck so that you actually visualize and not just memorize things on the neck. Learn the relationship between scales and chords. In other words, learn harmony. And this is so important so that you're not just playing things on the guitar just because, but rather because they have a certain sound that you're going for, because you have intent and you're trying to express something on your instrument using a specific tool. And learning how to connect them through something like voice leading is invaluable. That's how you connect two very distinct chords and make them sound musical together. But even if you know the shapes, there may still be something missing, and that's that you're focusing on scales instead of music. See, practicing scales in isolation has a few problems. It'll make you sound robotic, it won't translate to music, and it can get really boring and tedious. And that's because you're not connecting it to chords, you're not connecting it to phrasing, and you're not connecting it to real songs, to the real music that you actually enjoy doing, making, and listening to. Because scales don't make music, how you use them actually does. So people fall into the intermediate guitar trap, which is them thinking that if they learn more scales, they'll get better. And surprise, they usually don't. So the fix here is to practice scales in a different way. Practice them over chord progressions that you like. Practice them using phrasing and musical intent. Make a jam out of that, not just static practicing over a metronome, although that's important too, but it can't be the only piece of the equation. And practice it with intention. If you're playing it at 60 BPM, try to get it up to 65. And next time that you practice, if you're starting at 65, shoot for 70 BPM. Also, learn the harmony behind what you're practicing. If you're practicing a certain scale, then harmonize that scale using thirds and use that to reveal the chords that are built on that scale. If you do that, you'll learn the patterns that emerge when you harmonize that scale. You can use that to identify this chord scale relationship in anything that you're doing on guitar and music. So, because of that chord scale relationship, I, for example, know that if I have a D minor 7 chord here, then I know that I can play, for example, the D minor scale on top of that. But I could also play the Dorian, which is really just C major on top of this chord. Or if I really want to get trippier, I can do Phrygian on top of that, which is really just E flat major on top of that. So. And that's another sound that I have there, but I have it available to me because I know the chord scale relationship between those two things. And I know how these things line up on certain scales. So I can identify which things work with what. Hopefully, you're starting to see the pattern here that learning things on a deeper level will get you better results and more useful ways of applying what you know on the guitar to any musical situation. But even after all that, there can still be a huge glaring issue with how you're doing things. And that's that you may be avoiding weak areas instead of intentionally trying to work on them. Because players and musicians tend to repeat what they're already good at. And they usually try to avoid the things that they're not really good at or that aren't really a lot of fun. And that looks like avoiding stuff like practicing your timing, practicing technique issues, avoiding learning unfamiliar keys and positions on the guitar. Just overall avoiding doing the hard work, the part that actually requires practice on your part. And the key thing to know here is that comfort is the enemy of progress. If you stay in one place still, then you're not going to make as much progress as you'd like. And practicing only the same thing that you're already good at all the time creates a few different problems. It creates the illusion of improvement because if you already know that you're good at something and you just practice that, then you'll just feel good because you can play it well. But whenever you need to actually do something different, that might be an issue. And it'll create actual stagnation in your progress, in your practice. So you'll stay stuck playing the same thing over and over again instead of playing what you want to be able to play, and you won't be at the level of your heroes like you'd like. So the fix here is to consciously identify the weak spots in your playing. Target those things directly, head on. Make sure you start slow in your practice. Don't jump to the fastest tempo or to like the actual tempo of the song that you're practicing if you don't have it down just yet. There's no shame. In fact, there is strength in starting something at 50% speed, for example. And that's how I've been able to get and learn some things that I never thought I would be able to learn, all because I started at half speed or maybe even slower than that. And make sure that you deliberately put in the reps, because if your practice feels good all the time, then you're probably not improving. And all of this leads to the biggest problem of them all, and that's that you don't actually see the fretboard, because players usually rely on stuff like muscle memory, and this isn't bad at all. These are good things. I mean, Cage is built on shapes, of course, but they lack something really important here, and that's a mental map of the neck. Because you may be playing guitar, but you're not necessarily seeing the guitar in your mind's eye. And this causes a few issues. It makes you get lost on the guitar. It creates a lack of freedom. You won't be able to express as much as you wish you could because you'll be handicapped by your limits on where you can go on the neck consciously. And it'll create hesitation. Think of that time that you tried to rip a solo and go towards a higher register on the neck and you just weren't sure what you were doing. Well, that makes you hesitate because you're not super sure of where you're going to land and how that's going to look like. The fix here is to build visualization systems like the cased systems and the positions in there and practice that consciously. You practice each area independently, but when you have all of them good to go, you put them together. suddenly you have a map of the neck. That way you're building awareness of chord tones if you identify also what the chord tones are in each chord that you're doing in each position of the cage system and each inversion as well. And all this helps you to map out the neck on the guitar, which is at the end of the day what we all want, because that will take you to actual fretboard freedom. Because if I told you to right now find every C note on the neck immediately, would you be able to? More people than not probably wouldn't. And that's the issue here. So looking back, a lot of guitarists stay stuck because they have no system. They may have no connections in the concepts that they're practicing on the guitar. They probably have a scale obsession. They just end up collecting scales without actually doing something useful with them. They tend to have a lack of avoiding weaknesses, and this becomes their Achilles heel because their weaknesses takes over their playing. And worst of all, they have no system of visualizing the neck on the guitar. And the thing that's holding them back is not more information, because right here on YouTube you can find all the information in the world. But the thing is that they don't have a system that connects everything that they're doing on their instrument. So if you'd like to go deeper with this idea so that you can actually start seeing the fretboard and connect everything on the neck, I actually put together a free guide for you called 3 Steps to Fretboard Mastery. In this simple guide, you'll learn not just the cage system, but how to go beyond this so it actually connects everything: chords, scales, triads, arpeggios, and pretty much everything you do on the neck. This is the same framework that I learned in music college, and now I'm giving it away for free, so I highly recommend that you check it out. And if that interests you at all, you can find it in the link in the description down below. And until next time, keep practicing.